Hello everybody, this is Fenway here, and here I'm back with oxygen not included. Let's just continue with the initial base setup. There's a few more things I want to show off as far as how to get this rolling here. So things have changed. I've changed the volumes a little bit here and there. I think it might be a little bit better. And also I moved my face down here so that we can kind of see what's going on here in the top left corner, as far as just kind of seeing some of these things that you'll see pop up throughout the game to kind of give you indications of like what should be prioritized and what you should take care of. Like for example, building atonement. Well, that's because I got this little piece of sand right here that's blocking this chest. So I think I already got that assigned. Hopefully that's going to be taken care of here. But let's go on. Last time I showed like a good setup for a starter barracks for your clones to sleep at. I showed a decent setup, initial setup for having a lavatory for your clones to go to the bathroom. Just initially, of course. This is all initial stuff. And a good initial setup for oxygen production. So today I would kind of like to show off the other vital things that you need to take care of in this game. Right now I just got my guys running around cleaning up the place because it's a little messy, you know. They don't like it when it's messy because here, let me show the core. So you notice that red's not so great. Green is good. And you'll notice as they're cleaning it up, it's becoming less and less red over here. Better to core, less stress. So I'll once I get the research done, I'll show the difference as far as what art can do to make the decor of a room look like, how it will improve it. But when we get to that point, I'll show you to you. But for now, let's just keep an eye on things here. These guys seem to be okay. So here we got well, these guys are on autopilot, so I'm about to finish. But let's see here. Every so couple of cycles, you'll get a new clone that comes in, and it gives you a choice of 3. You can't shuffle through these. So ideally, you want to get one that you plan on having for the long run. Of course, later on in the game, you can get rid of clones through diabolical methods, but I personally feel a lot better just to pick someone who will just stay with me for the rest of the game, not have to worry about the idea of getting rid of them later on. So let's see here. The architect here, Jean, depending on how you pronounce it. I'm always a big fan of diver's lung because that just basically means less oxygen producing things I need to worry about. Noodle arms, I mean, I can deal with that because I mean -3, even though he's got +1 strength, he is a low level, so he doesn't have that much attributes to him. I mean, in my opinion, he's a good positive, and also to kind of look at decor expectations, so he doesn't get so stressed out at a messy place. Food quality, -3, so that's pretty much just kind of states like they'll eat anything and not feel bad about it. I don't know how negative it could go, but I guess -3 is probably the best. Whereas if it goes in the positives, they have to eat better food. So far, not a big fan of mouth breather because that's more oxygen consumption. Pacifist I'm okay with because I don't plan on doing a lot of combat early game. Irritable bowel, I mean, that just basically means they spend more time in the bathroom, less time being efficient at what I want them to do. So, long run, I think this guy is ideal just because food quality -3, decor expectation -20, and diver's lung, I always like diver's lung. So, let's take this guy. So we got our 4th dude, let's assign him a bed. So that's where he's going to be sleeping, and let's go to jobs here real quick because I'm pretty sure I set it up the way I wanted to, but yes, okay, so whenever you hit these buttons up here, that just prevents the new duplicates from doing those jobs. So it looks like Marie is no longer a scientist, she's considered a minor, even though she's still my highest learning person. Art, I got Bubbles still be my main artist, and for power, I still got bubbles to take care of the power as well. So this is good. This is good. I'm happy with that. Let's go on. So my next project here um, is I want to start getting food produced. Now, ideally for food, what I recommend is to start with mealwood. Mealwood is easy. It's a good range of temperature because later on you're going to be having to deal with temperature, but in this initial biome, temperature should not be a big issue. So I did get the research done to make planter boxes, which will be a good initial startup for getting plants rolling here. But the thing I'm thinking about though, let's set this. Yeah, hold on. Let's just get this sand out of the way because I don't want these people to starve. Alright, so let's do some more. I know I'm kind of like stopping where I was talking about before. So what my thought process beforehand was, where am I going to put this food? As far as like how physics normally work and the rules of thermodynamics and such, heat rises, cold goes down, and in a later game you'll start producing machinery that produces heat. Like right now my science equipment and this battery should be producing heat, so heat should be rising. Let's see if that's even taking effect right now. So right now we're still at a temperate, but you'll see here that the battery is actually kind of warm. This stuff right here should also be going in that same direction, but I think over time it builds up as it's being used over and over again. So what I would like to do I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the farm over here, and yeah. So I'm going to set the farm over here. So let's dig all of this out. And while that's being dug, I'm going to set these 4 tiles to be 9. Because I don't want the stuff to fall down in the water and not be used. So like as they dig, once they are able to reach these, they'll close these up so the stuff above it should not fall down, ideally. So let's take care of all that. And it seems like these are going to fall down, so let's take care of that before... I mean, I guess it's probably not a crucial for me to do, but I just want to take care of it and not forget about it later on. Because like, no one's going to be sleeping there, but, you know, let's stay on top of things, basically. So... instead of having one way of getting there, let's set up a second method for them to get there. Alright, so at this moment, I got all the crucial stuff into their places that I want it to be set up. So I don't want them eating the muck roots. That's like the good initial food for them to help survive. You'll see here that you only have this many calories of food going on. And you'll see there 4 muck roots, nutrient bars. Nutrient bars is what you start with in this game. But with 4 people, ideally they'd like to cap themselves out at 4,000 calories. I think they start eating once they get into the... You know, I actually don't know. Let's find out here. I'm going to learn something new myself. Because I think they start eating once they get below half of their calorie needs or desire. Well, their fullness, basically. But, let's find out here. So I would assume eventually they're going to start to eat. Here we go. So, wait, did they put it away or did they grab it to eat? Okay, so yeah, so once they start hitting about 0.5%, they will start to want to bring that fullness back up to full, I assume. Let's see, am I still getting the room benefits? So I did call this a lavatory, I think, but latrine, I think it's still the same word. I could be wrong. I'm not exactly 100% knowing about the English language, even though it is my primary language. This is still set up as a barracks, so that's good. So they got done with the research. What research was I doing? Okay. So since we have that done, I probably should have thought about this, but I don't really have a place to put down the next station, which I want to put down a supercomputer, because I need the supercomputer in order to research everything beyond the immediate stuff to research, meaning everything on tier 2. All tier 1 stuff should be just done with the research center or station or whatever it's called. Because I do want to show this off right here. So I'll let them get started on the normal research, or I think it's called the novice research. Yes. They'll get started on the novice research, and while they're doing that, I'll hopefully find a place for the intermediate research. Excuse me. But I guess the question is, where do I want to put it? Ideally, I just want to keep it close to this, so that I don't have to make so much too many wires going everywhere throughout the base. I just kind of want to keep it centralized, so that I'm just using less copper because of that. I like to use as little as possible. But I do see an opportunity open up as far as me putting it like up here, and ideally I want to get all this water to go down here or into here. So what I'm gonna do, let's push up, cancel that. Let's get this going up to here, and I want to dig this out. Now water has a weird mechanic of clinging onto things. I forget the actual technical term for it, but because of water's properties in real life, water tends to want to stay together due to its, I think it's called cohesion, due to its ability to stay together. It wants to stay together because of the charge it gives off of certain parts of the molecule, like there's some positive side, there's some negative sides to it. So they did a good job as far as showing that off in this game. But hopefully it just goes straight down as I want it to. And okay, so you got some carbon dioxide up here, but that should go down and that should consume it. Let me think. Yeah, show this off real quick right here. They're taking care of the floor first before they dig, so that I don't lose material falling down to here. I mean, eventually I could get it later on, but just for now, I just want to keep it to where I can reach it at the moment. Oh, I just realized something too. You do not want to dig up oxalite. Oxalite, I think, becomes useless once you dig it, so I might as well just let it sit there because it's going to produce more oxygen for me. And once you dig out an area like this, it gets rid, like it becomes, it's like you're started with a void basically. So at this level right here, there's just showing very low oxygen, unbreathable situation here. But this will go out and this will level out. What? Okay, so this is new to me. Oh yeah, I forgot. I do kind of want to sweep up this sand. But let me get back on the previous thought here. Water is coming up. I've never seen this before, but I think I get the idea of it. The water is so compact here that it wants to come up. Let's take care of that so that I don't flood stuff down here. And like I said, I do need to get on to that research thing. As I mentioned before in the last video, I like to build things with rooms that are 4 tiles high. So what I'm going to do here is 1, 2, 3. Because honestly, I don't need to be digging a lot. And I know I did mention earlier that I do want to get this farm going, so let's get that on a roll, because the sooner you start making food, the better. Because I can already see that I'm already at a little below 12k calories. I think what I'm going to need to do here is dig that out, because I don't want them getting soggy feet. Soggy feet is basically, it's going to cause them to get potentially sick. You don't want to get you guys sick early on, because it's just a hassle. It's just, you just don't want to deal with it. So one way to kind of tackle that issue in a weird setup like this is just mop up the water. In the earlier versions of this game, whenever you mopped up water, even dirty water, I think it just went away forever. But I think they change it now to where they'll mop it up and they'll put it in little bottles like that right there, which is really nice. Okay, so I think this is okay right now. So we got the farm set up, but the thing is, we need more methods of getting food. We'll focus that here in a second once I take care of that. And me being like a tad bit OCD, I like to keep things nice and neat, so even though I could save some wire by just going straight up, I like just to kind of have a nice setup. That's just me though. So we got someone that's idle. So we just gather material. Let me get some thoughts out here before I continue. For a farm setup, I don't know what the ideal, like, you want to get it going as fast as possible, but I don't know what the efficient way of doing it is. And what I mean by that is, like, I could be saying that wrong, of course, but like, how many plants per person will feed the colony without having you to make too much food, but you don't want to make too little food to where they start starving. I want to say, I don't know the answer though, but I do want to say that I think it would be 3 plants per person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So ideally, if that's the case, I only have it set up to where I could support 5 people without making too much food, not making too little food. I think once some of the water, this water goes away, there'll be another 3, So I fortunately lined this up to set myself up for a perfect six clone colony. But I guess I'll find that out once we actually get the food rolling and just kind of see how that goes. If anyone knows the answer to that, I would definitely like to hear feedback on that. Let's wait. Okay, so they don't have enough material to make the rest of the wire, so what I'm going to do, because there's some copper here, there's copper here, here, and there. So let's have them dig that up for now. I mean, I do have a source of it here, but I don't want to quite open that up quite yet. I just kind of want to just keep things to a minimum here. Onward. Oh yeah. And before it gets nighttime, I definitely want to close that up. Let's have them sweep that up. Okay. So we have oxygen set up, got barracks set up, latrine set up. Next, you want to get, you definitely want to get a mess hall set up and a med bay set up. So my duplicates are still good at the moment. But let's make. I want to take care of this right now because I don't want the hatches to eat that. So let's set this up right here. And then have them sweep this up. Let's just put all for now. And it is saying insufficient oxygen generation because the 4 duplicates are making that much carbon dioxide. So eventually I'm going to need to start making another one of these. And for me to do that, I will simply set myself up another 7 setup here. So 6, 7. I think, did I prioritize that as 9? Yep. So prioritize 9. Let's just only dig this much at the moment because I want them to take care of that as well. Have them dig that. Have them dig this. They're going to eat that sand, but that's okay. There are methods. In the earlier patches, there were no. Sand was really vital because it was like your filtration ingredient to turn bad water into good water. But they added a machine that allows you to take material to granulate it into sand. So I guess theoretically you have unlimited sand, but so I'm not too crazy concerned about losing some sand here initially. But let's do sweep. Use idle. Not sure how that happened. I wasn't watching, but we need to take care of that ASAP. Cancel everything else. We need to get bubbles out of there. Alright, there we go. Sometimes clones do the wackiest things. Should be a TV show, right? Okay. So let's take care of the oxygen situation. Got that. Let's make it most efficient by doing that. And let's get some power going to it. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Let's take care of that. Now, why am I not researching? Okay, she's researching. So let's open this up because it doesn't need to be closed right now. Oh, you know what I should have done? I'm going to change this setup slightly. I'm going to deconstruct this. And I want to push this out one more. And the reason I want to do that because I want to put a storage unit down here and just fill it up with algae so they don't have to be, you want to try and make this as efficient as possible as far as your initial setup. So, because they need algae, they need to keep on putting algae in these to keep on producing oxygen, so like algae, water, oxygen. So I'm just going to make it easier for them without having them running around so much by putting a storage unit here that just purely has algae in it. Alright, so now we have canvases and sculpting. So let's go back up here. Because in order to make a mess hall you need tables. So let's take care of that. I mean, you could I'm just doing like one researches and such right now, but you know, I might as well do a double research here. So you could click all the way down the line to get that done. So you don't have to keep on going back and forth with this. That's something I just recently discovered. Oh, so I do need to continue my light setup down here. Presto. Let's get this connected. Now, I don't know if that's going to mess with the latrine setup or not, because it does say no machinery in the latrine. I don't know if having a wire going through is going to mess it up. We'll find out here in a second. Let's sketch this here. So now I'm down to 7,000 calories. But I am not too concerned about that because this is how I'm going to alleviate that problem. Because there is some food around here that kind of help with that initial startup, and we're just going to utilize that right now. Alright. Well, we do have some good... let me think here. Not too crazy about nails, only because, I mean, even though this is just starting, having -3 learning makes it very slow for this duplicate to be able to up their skills. I mean, even though Diver's Lung is really nice, I want to keep this person for a long run, and it's just too low of a start here. This duplicate, I mean, with little strength, noodle arms, because the noodle arms does that. I have to hold back on right now because food is being produced very slowly. Once I get my food ramped up into really big numbers, like at least over 20k, then I'll start thinking about bringing another duplicate in. So you don't want to bring in too many people too fast because that's going to cause food issues and I mean, I would say oxygen issues, but if you do a good oxygen setup like me, you wouldn't have to worry about oxygen early game. So right now we're just going to reject them all, even though there was a good candidate there. Organic, let's get the algae set up in there. Let's make this a priority 9 so that whenever they do find algae, that's going to be the first place they're going to put it. Let's click off all the organics for the other ones, so the algae should drop out. Which, and none of them, they didn't have any, so that's okay. But, I guess as far as, man, I guess if anything, the only thing I accomplished in this video is kind of a good setup for a farm, good setup, extra setup for oxygen production, but I feel like this is pretty good so far. What do y'all think? I would definitely like to hear some feedback, so definitely comment, like, and subscribe, and you know, feel free to check out my other content. If y'all are interested in more of this, definitely let me know. But if anything, you're going to see more of this. This is going to be more of this is going to come up anyways, because I like to play this game every so often. Kind of relieve a little bit of stress after playing like a scary game, for example. It's a good way for me to calm my nerves. But other than that, I'll see y'all in the next video. So until then, bye bye.